Hi, Personal Family Living. You're going to laugh. This is the third time that I am trying to do this video because it is a really hard topic to talk about and to make sure I am saying the right things. So this week's topic is divorce, remarriage, and most importantly, I added how to handle a serious relationship. Of course, when you're older. I'm hoping you guys aren't in too serious of a relationship right now. So first of all, divorce, remarriage is a touchy subject. I think that really there's only a couple questions on your questionnaire that are going to tap into that. And if those are too hard for you to answer, please go ahead and put them to the side. If I was getting some of these questions as my parents were getting a divorce, it might have been too close to my heart and I would have gotten emotional. So if you're feeling that, please step away whenever you are going to need to during this assignment. This video, though, is touching on how to handle a serious relationship when you're older, because there's some things that you don't know starting out that I know because I'm more experienced, and I'd like to just shed light on that. The reason why I wanted to not just talk about what's in the notes, divorce and remarriage, because I feel like there's a deeper part of this, which is how do we avoid divorce in the first place? And I know sometimes divorce, some people view it as a good change. I've had students say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad my parents got divorced because all they did was scream at each other. So I can hear that. It does affect a lot of lives when people get divorced. So I just want to touch on a few things that have really helped me. Although disclaimer, I am not married, but I am in premarital counseling. I am engaged and very committed to my person, and we have a good life together. So I plan on keeping it that way. And these are the things that I want to tell you about. I want to talk about intimacy, emotional intimacy. I want to talk about taking care of your own business coming into that relationship and continuing that relationship. You got to take care of yourself. And 3, communication, because we've talked about communication a lot, and that is key. Emotional intimacy. So the first thing I want to talk about is emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is deeply knowing another person and being deeply known by them. See how that's a two-way street? And the reason why this is really important is because, and we're going to talk about this later in a chapter called Understanding Love, that you may or may not know this, but when you have a new relationship, for about 1.5 years, you are under these hormones and pheromones that cloud your brain, and you can't see straight, and you don't see some of the flaws in your chosen mate at the time. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, give me a comment. Tell me you did not know that. Tell me that in your notes, because maybe you didn't know that. That's really important to know. That's why I feel like we hear about celebrities getting married. It seems, and they'll get married like really quickly. Well, we always are hearing about them getting divorced very quickly afterwards. That's probably why. I mean, there's probably other reasons, like their fame and their money getting thrown around, and they're not valuing certain things possibly, but those hormones cloud you. So when that fades, you need something. You need some meat and potatoes. You need some emotional connection. So you got to make sure you know the person. This is probably why you have maybe heard of people who marry their best friend, or you've known people that like they're engaged and then they wait to get married. They wait a couple of years. I'm not saying this is the best way to go, and I know there are religious beliefs and everything that I don't want to go against any kind of religious beliefs. But when it comes to these hormones, they say they wear off after about 1.5 years. So there is some proof that being engaged and getting to know each other for at least like 2 years is pretty important. So that's the emotional intimacy part. So again, those love pheromones and hormones are going to wear off. You need something substantial to base your relationship on. You need stuff to talk about, to relate to each other with, and just to be able to sit down and talk. Okay, so remember, deeply knowing somebody and being deeply known by them, that is emotional intimacy. That is what's going to carry your relationship along with these other two things. The next thing is taking care of your own business. Sometimes I think of it as cleaning your attic. I guess maybe you've heard of baggage. So we all carry things into a relationship, maybe something that happened in a past relationship, and then we're projecting it on the new relationship. That can be really dangerous because if that new person is not going to hurt you that way, they can feel really offended that you would even think so. So that is why it's important to take care of your own stuff. So if you're feeling like you're thinking a certain thing, like a very common one is, oh my God, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat because maybe you were cheated on. I'm just saying this because this is, if you look up the most common issue brought into relationships. You have to work with that. You have to work with it so far down to really get to a spot where you're so comfortable with yourself and in your skin that if the person did hurt you, it's not going to be, I mean, you're going to feel hurt. Yes, I'm not saying, but it's not going to be like the end of the world. You're in a place where you're like, okay, I can either like forgive and talk this through, or I need to choose to end it or whatever, but not where it's going to just totally tear your world apart. So yeah, taking care of your business, cleaning your attic, maybe even not cleaning it, but sorting through it. It's really important that your partner knows some of that stuff too, so that they're not like, what are you doing over there? You're crazy. What are you even talking about? You can say, well, something happened to me, or this happened in my life. That's why I feel this way. So this brings us to communication. Super important. We've talked about communication. We've talked about I messages. So saying I feel a certain way when this happens. And then I don't know if we got to it, but the person should repeat back what they heard. That's important. My personal story from my relationship was at premarital counseling. My fiance was to tell me something with an I message that he was feeling. And you can imagine I was so scared. I did not know what he was going to say. But he said something pretty trivial, but it ended up being like really monumental at the same time. So this is the story. And this is, you can write on number 4 about intimacy, taking care of your baggage or your stuff, and communication. So the communication, the story, I like to call it the lights. So if you want to refer to my story, the lights. I have very sensitive eyes. I always like the lights dim. I don't know. Do you guys have somebody in your family like that? Are you like that? Oh, if bright lights are on, it just makes me, I squint. I'm uncomfortable. Okay. Well, we do have a dimmer setting in our dining room, and I always want it dim. Well, he had said a couple times, like, I can't really see. And then I'd be like, oh, that hurts my eyes. And I guess my complaining outweighed his. Not fair, right? And lo and behold, in our premarital counseling session, he used the I statement, the I message I talked to you about. He said, I feel uncomfortable when the lights are really dim. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening right now. But it was actually really important because it made me realize his character is one that he will sacrifice his comfort before mine. Does that make sense? Yeah. So he sacrifices his comfort before anyone else is in our family. He's actually a lot of times one of the last people to sit down to eat. That's his character. He'll make sure everybody has what they need. I mean, we switch off, but I feel like a lot of times in houses, I don't always see that from everybody, but we're pretty mutual that way. I totally lost track of what I was saying. Okay, the lights. Yes. So then I said back, because you have to make sure you repeat back what the person said. So we said, I feel uncomfortable when lights are so dim. he said something like, yeah, I feel like I can't always see my food. Like, it's really dark. I'm uncomfortable. And I said, oh my gosh. So I'm hearing you say I have the lights too dim and it's making you uncomfortable. And he said, yes. And then I, of course, thought, okay, well, this is like a really, even though it sounds really trivial talking about lights, like I said, it shed light on the fact that if he is not actually, imagine if he went 20 years or to his grave being upset about that. I feel like I wouldn't be being the best partner I could be, right? If I'm not able to know what's making him uncomfortable. So that was really important. I know, so that's just my story. I could go on, but I don't want to say too much about it because I've already been talking for 10 and a half minutes on here. But that's my story about lights and how he was able to express to me in counseling that he felt uncomfortable because the lights are too dim. And because for me, it was like, I was like, oh, it hurts my eyes. So that just showed me how important it is to talk about every single thing. It sounds petty too, doesn't it? To say every little thing that's making you uncomfortable. But you guys, I'm telling you, it's really important because do you want to have your serious relationship for hopefully, forever? That's what we all hope for, right? Where you're actually uncomfortable or the other person's uncomfortable with something. I personally would rather have them tell me. So that is another reason. If it's almost like you're living a lie. I mean, the lights, it's not like he was living a lie, it's just lights. But in a way, like if you think of that, there could be other things that were bothering him. It's almost like you're living a lie, like he's not getting what he needs or he feels uncomfortable. So again, that's my story about the lights. I know it's kind of a silly story, but I thought it really brought to life communication, and it also kind of speaks to intimacy, emotional intimacy too. Like now I really, really know that he does not like it when the lights are dim, he can't see. He also knows I have, it hurts my eyes, but I just put on, I have a hat that I wear sometimes. So that helps block the lights. Maybe these new bangs that I cut will help too with some of that. Anybody else cutting their own hair out there? I did it. Oh well. If you guys need to connect with me in any way, please email me. Please join me on Zoom, Tuesday, Thursdays, 10 to noon. I'm here for you. If you want to talk about anything, I can help you with time management for your classes. I can help you talk through this assignment or any of the assignments we've had. I really love teaching this class. I do wish we were in person, but I enjoy talking about these real life things that you guys are going to do. And yeah, please connect with me any way you need to. And I hope you guys continue to stay well and healthy. Bye.